Patrick, thank you so much for giving me the time to have a couple minutes with you. Um, just want to get down to some questions. I know you're a new guy in Philadelphia. I was wondering how the city of Philly's treating you. How you think of the fan base? How the city is in general.
Philly's been great, really passionate fans. You can tell how bad they want to win, and we want to win really bad too. So, it's great. It's great to have that kind of support at home.
Is there the atmosphere in Vegas, them being a new franchise? Is there a huge difference in that fan base and just kind of the atmospheres from Vegas to Philadelphia?
Well, you know that like Philly is definitely more of a sports town, so I feel like maybe the hockey fan is a little bit more of a born and raised hockey fan. They might understand the game a little bit more. Where Vegas, their fans were really passionate and loud, but it's a lot more of a show. It's a lot more of a show for them than it is as much of a hockey game, in my opinion.
I got to be honest with you. The first time I saw the big, it's literally a show on the ice with the knight and the. I think they were the first team to actually do the graphics on the ice with the kind of like the big scene and everything. I was kind of blown away. I kind of didn't know I was watching a hockey game at that point.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. They do a good job. They put on a really good show for those games, for sure.
It definitely led to. I mean, now Gritty's kind of doing his thing with the ice and the stick and the the ice kind of breaking away and him skating away. It was a pretty cool innovatory thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, the transition. You played for Boston College,
Yeah.
really prestigious hockey college. Was the transition from Boston College to the Hurricanes and the Checkers? Would you say it was a difficult in your standpoint, or was it just kind of a pretty smooth transition?
It wasn't, it wasn't easy. That's not the word I want to use, but I think playing at Boston College prepared me to be a pro hockey player as best as I could be. And then, when I got there, I played a couple games with the Hurricanes and mostly with the Checkers, those first couple years. I felt confident in myself, confident in my game, and I was just trying to develop so that I could, one day be a full-time NHLer.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I know. I know. Obviously, there's a huge jump. There's a huge jump between the AHL and the NHL as well. So I mean, it's more aggressive. I think from in the AHL, and I think still nowadays it's a little bit more aggressive in the AHL than the NHL right now. But like the fighting aspect is still kind of down there, and it's kind of being taken out of the game up here. Um, if Patrick Brown from 2021 could give Patrick Brown in 2014 any advice, what would you say it would be
That's a
as a
really
hockey
good
player?
question.
As a
That's a
hockey
really good
player.
question. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot since then. Um, God, one piece of advice, like probably go into every single game with a playoff mentality. Not a there's no sometimes you're playing the third game of a 3-3 on the road when you're in the American League. When I was in 2014, and you're tired and you've been on a long road trip, and sometimes that third game it's like, all right, I'm going to throw out the best I can give for that game, and we'll see what happens. But you can't play professional hockey like that. Every single game you have to imagine this is a playoff hockey game. I got to do anything I can to win this game, and that's kind of how I approach it now. That's kind of how I've developed mentally since I turned pro.
It's pretty good advice. I never. So I played beer league. I didn't play obviously any high level.
I've played a couple of those too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's kind of where I fell in love with the game, is playing my dad's men's league growing up. I would play with him and his buddies. We would play on Wednesday nights at like 9 o'clock, and it was a blast.
Yeah, you were a little bit more successful than me, I would say. I couldn't really get the skating aspect down. I was a really good inline rollerblader when I played deck hockey, but the whole ice thing just wasn't my strong suit. Um, the one question that I had, other than Giroux is obviously, he's the captain of the team. He's the big man, the voice. Is there any other? Um, I mean, I guess who would be the guy that stepped in since Giroux's been in COVID protocol? Is there anybody that's kind of like taken that role over since he's been out, or you guys kind of just go about business as usual?
I think that we have like such a strong locker room and such a good culture in there that Giroux's he's an incredible leader and guy, and when he's there, he's obviously got the locker room. But we've got so many veterans that everyone stepped up different games. Everyone said things here and there when it needs to. I mean, between Cam and Keith Yandel and Watts and Kevin Hayes, like you have a lot of really good hockey players that are really good people too, and they lead by example and they say the right things when they need to be said for sure.
Speaking of Yandel, and I know him and Kevin Hayes are real close. That's got to be hilarious having them in the locker room now.
Oh, for sure, for sure. They are definitely a joy to be around, and they're laughing and having a good time. Ups and downs doesn't matter. They're always keeping it light, which is great.
Yeah, that makes for a really good, really healthy locker room. And you played with Kevin previously, didn't you?
Yep, yeah, I played 4 years at BC with Kev. He's awesome. He's one of my good buds.
You gotta respect anybody that has their own beer. Is kind of where I'm at. That makes a lot of
For sure.
especially in Philadelphia, as you know. I'm new to the media. You're a new guy in Philly, so a little bit in common. Um, Philadelphia is a real blue collar city. So Kevin Hayes fits in completely here. The fourth line, third line grinders. Like you and Zach McEwen, absolute fan favorites. Everybody in this town loves that type of player. With that being said, was your mind at ease when you were in Vegas having Ryan Reeves on the ice, and here in Philly, kind of having someone like Zach McEwen willing to drop the mitts with somebody? Does that make your game a little bit easier to play, or do you actually like to adopt the physical aspect of the game as well?
I love playing with both those players you just named, and I love playing with Zach right now. Um, I think there's a lot of different ways to be physical, like finishing checks, letting the other team know that every time their D goes back for the puck, you're gonna put a lick in on them, and they're gonna feel it. They're gonna go back a little bit slower. Maybe next time they let you get the puck. And playing with Revo and Will Carrier in Vegas, they really showed that. Like Revo didn't have to fight every single game. Like everyone knew that he was the baddest guy on the ice, but he also finished every single check. And every time we were on the ice and, we dumped the puck in, you could hear the crowd going as, they go in and then finish their check. And that brings energy to everyone. And I think you could see, Zach McEwen doing that last game. He's been doing it all season, but last game in the first period, he put two guys on their backs within the first, like 3 or 4 shifts. He threw huge hits, and, that opens up the game for the ice for everyone, including myself. Like the next time, I'm sure it's on the video, but later in the game, D going back for the puck, they don't go back as fast. They take 1, 2, 3 looks over their shoulder before they get there because they don't know, who's coming to steamroll them.
Yeah, that was actually a really physical game. I think it was Sealer, Risto, and McEwen were just laying guys out left and right, which, like I said, the town loves that type of hockey. I mean, it's just the Broad Street Bully era, everything. Obviously, that's not going to come back anytime soon, but I mean, we love our physical play. So this is the last thing I'll ask you. I don't want to keep you. I know you're busy. Um, you being the new guy in Philadelphia, or one of the newer additions to the team, who do you catch yourself palling around with on the team?
At first I was hanging out a lot with Kev and kind of his crew, but I'm running around with a lot of the newer guys lately just because we were all in the hotel for a bit, and now we're trying to get apartments and stuff like that. So, Nick Sealer and McEwen, we've been hanging out on the road, and then who else? Bronner's a funny guy once you get to know him. I don't know if you've ever had or if you're going to have him on, but he's a pretty funny guy to get to know. But yeah, I've been trying to mix it up, have dinner with, different guys just so that I get to know everyone on the team. But it's such a good culture here, and it's so, inviting that it's really not hard to, be friends with everybody. You don't have to, be at their house every day. We have such a good locker room that it makes it pretty easy.
It is, regardless of how the fan base can be rough sometimes, it is the city of brotherly love. Don't let that deter you. But well, actually, I'll sneak in one more. What favorite restaurant in the city?
Favorite restaurant? So you're talking in Philly, or would you include Jersey in that?
Oh, I'll take Jersey. Yeah,
You'll
I'm a
take
Delaware
Jersey?
County native, so I know the area.
Yeah, I think my favorite place I've been to so far, and if I say it wrong, it's going to be kind of embarrassing, but I think it was Tre Familia in Haddonfield. I
Okay,
don't know.
okay.
I could be saying it wrong, but I ate there the other day with my son and my wife and my parents, and that was great. I'm trying to think some other spots I've been to. Oh, what's the spot right next to Hazy's apartment? There's a great spot. I don't know. I haven't been out to eat as much. We do a lot of cooking here because I got a little one at home, so we've been cooking a lot lately.
Yeah, I know the thing. I have my oldest is about to turn 5, and I have one that just turned 1. So I understand the plight of chasing them around. My
Yeah.
littlest one's like a bull in a china shop. Um, Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Sorry about the technical difficulties and such. Just
No
the internet
worries. No worries.
is absolutely out of control. But yeah, thanks a lot, and enjoy your night. Sorry about the technical difficulties, like I said.
Don't worry about it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, anytime, man. You have a good night.
Thanks. You too.